Hello everybody, I will start my today another live coding session. So today I will solve this question, intersection of two arrays 2. So this is an easy question, so I try to go quickly. Given two integer array, nums1 and nums2, return an array of their intersection. Each element in the result must appear as many times is shown as it shows in both arrays, and you may return the result in any order. I see. So I will take the intersection like this and this. In this case, it should be 2 only, and 2 appears twice. So I have to, appear 2 twice. I mean, 2 has to appear twice. For this one, I can find that 4 is the intersection. So 4 should be, inserted in the returned list, and 9 too. But for 9, this appears. Okay, so for each of 4 and 9, it appears only one time in the nums1 and twice in nums2. So I return, or should appear only once in the returned array. Okay. So I've understood what I should do. So let me quickly clarify some things. So for the interface, I can say I'm given nums1 and nums2. Both of them are integer array, and I will return nums array. Yeah, obviously. And for constraint, I think I should say nothing matters that much. So even if nums1 or nums2 is an empty array, in that case, I just have to return that empty array. So maybe I should say they are edge cases. In this case, I should return this. In this case, I should return just an empty array. Same for this. Not so hard. Very simple. Okay. So that being said, let me think of this question with an example. So the first array, let's say it looks like this. The second array looks like this. Okay. Maybe I should be twice here and once in here. Okay. So in this case, what is expected to return is something like this. Yeah. So because 4 appears 3 times and twice, so it should be included twice in the returned array. And the same logic for 1 and 3. Good. I don't have to sort this in this order. Maybe 1, 4, 3, 3, 1, 4, 4, 3, or some other. Yeah. Unsorted array is fine. So that being said, let me think. So the brute force approach should be okay. I will create a set from this, maybe this one. Not set. Maybe the counter. Like this. 1 appears once, 3 appears twice, and 4 appears twice. Then for each nums in nums1, check if it is included or not. And also, if included, append. And also, I have to pop decrement this one. So again, I would say for each number in nums1, for example 1, I will check at least one element um, exists in nums2. And if it is true, I append it to the returned list. Then I decrement count of the number in nums2. Otherwise, if that number appears many more times, I should say more times in nums1 rather than nums2, all the numbers in nums1, that number can be inserted into the returned list. Yep. So this is what I can do. Okay, so for time complexity, assuming that there are n1 element and n2 element in these two arrays, firstly, I create the counter, which takes n2 time. And then in line 20, I iterate each number in nums1, there are n1 element. And for each first loop step, it takes only the constant time. All I do is the operation on the counter. Yeah, like inclusion check or maybe decrementing the count, which means that updating the value, all of them takes only the constant time. Yep. And for space complexity, it should take n2 because I created the counter of n nums2. The quick optimization I can make is I can swap n1 and n2, nums1 and nums2 if nums2 has more elements. Yeah, because if nums1 has fewer elements, I should create a counter with that. In that way, even in the worst case, there should be n1 elements, n1 keys in the counter. Yeah. But if I create with nums2, there should be n2 keys in this counter in the worst case. So it should be larger than n1. So with this optional swapping, occasional swapping, I should say, I can optimize the space complexity. Good. So let me start the implementation. Mm. Maybe this is more easy to understand. Okay, so I append the current number to return array and also decrement the counter. Yep. And in the end, I return read. Okay. Good. So let me quickly dry run. I will go with this one first. Empty array and empty array. In this case, in line 37, both of them are 0, length 0. So I go to line 40 and I create the counter, which should be empty. Then return the array begins with an empty array. And because there isn't any element in the nums1, I go to line 50 and I return the empty array. Okay, so this is expected. So I passed this test case. Good. Let me take a look at one more normal example. Yeah, in this case, it is expected that this or this is returned. So in line 40, I don't swap, and I go to line 43, and I create the counter with 112. So it should be 1 twice and 2 once. And in line 48, I, iterate each element. For the first number 1, count to num, which is now 2, is larger than 1. Yes. So I append this num to read, and I go to line 54, and I decrement this 2 to 1. Yeah. Okay, and then I go back to line 51, and I will take a look at number 2, and I can find that count to num 1 is now 1, which is larger than or equal to 1. So I go to line 53, and I append this 1 to read. No, 2 to read. Then I go to line 54, and I decrement this. Okay, and I come back to line 51, and the last element 2. Now what happens is that in line 52, count to num, which is now 0. So I skip this if statement, and I come back to line 51, but it's the end of the for loop, so I go to line 56. Now I return 1, 2. Okay, so this test case passed. Good. So now I'm pretty confident in my code. So let me submit. Good. Okay, accepted. Great. Let me quickly wrap up. So today I solved the question, intersection of two arrays, number 2. So in my question, my task was I'm given 2 arrays, and my task is to create the list which has duplicated element between nums1 and nums2 and return it. And I have to take care of the frequency of elements in the returned array. Yeah. So my approach was to use the counter. So I created the counter for nums2, and for each number in nums1, I check if there is at least one element in the counter. Also, if there is, I have to decrement the counter on that number. Okay, that being said, I finished my today's coding practice. Thank you so much. Bye.